Good morning everybody and welcome to a new release announcement video for Maho. It is September, so it's time for us to release Maho 25.9, but let's dive right into the changelog because as usual we have a lot of new features and improvements that I want to show you. So if you go to our website, you go to the blog section, you have all the releases documented with all the changelogs, but you can also find the changelog in our GitHub page under releases and 25.9. Let's dive right into it. First thing, it is the blog module. So these features was requested a few times by our users, and I think it was about time that our e-commerce platform also had basic blog functionality. So what happens is you can go into your backend for your Maho project, you go into CMS, you have a new section, blog posts. So you can see here there's demo content, which by the way is available on our sample data package. So if you install Maho with sample data, you will find it here. And what happens is you can obviously edit blog posts. You have title, the slug, but also you have an image. At this moment, we have a single image for every blog post. You can select which store the blog post is about. Publishing date, so that the post appears only after that date. Obviously some content with our new rich text editor and all of the features that the rich text editor supports, but also very important, you have meta information, so meta title, meta keywords, etc., and also meta robots. So how does it show on the actual website? So if we navigate to the website and we can find a new blog section here in the menu, we click on it, and basic blog functionality, you can enter the blog post, etc. So it's very simple, very straightforward, but I guess it's a very nice addition. But let's continue on our journey. We have another very important module that up until now it was reserved only for very big enterprise platforms, but it is now available in Maho 25.9, which is customer segmentation. What is a customer segment? A customer segment is a way to group customers into dynamic segments which are based on their characteristics of the users, but also on their behaviors. Let's check it out. We can go into the customer section. We have a new element, customer segment. We can create a segment, obviously. We have basic parameters here. Let's create, just a simple one. We don't have to select the customer group. You can give it a name. And then we have the condition, which is a very powerful element that was always available in our platform. And you can see how many combinations are possible for you to select in order for you to create and target the right customer segment. So for example, we can say we wanna group customers that are ordering from Italy, for example, and we have customer address, country, and we can choose Italy, for example, and then we can say, okay, maybe we want customers that never ordered, so they are subscribed but they never ordered. So we have a number of order here, but then you can see how many, lifetime profit. We have a lot of parameters. It's just up to you to check them all and see. We can save the segment, and then what we can do is refresh the segment, which is gonna recalculate how many customers are in the segment. And if we come back in, we can see we have a user. That's me, it's just a sample content. But the thing is, once you create the segment, you have many possibilities, because now if you want to send a newsletter, for example, to your customers, you can go to the newsletter templates and queue a new newsletter, and then here you can target a segment. So, newsletter possibilities in Maho 25.9 are much more powerful, but you can use segments in catalog promotions to, let me see, let's go to promotion and shopping cart promotion. When you create a new rule and you go to the conditions, then here you also have customer segment. So, very important for marketing purposes. But let's go back to the list of changes. We have image editing functionality built right into the platform. What does it mean? Let me show it to you. We can go to CMS Media Library, and for example, we can decide, okay, we wanna crop this image. We have a new button here, edit image, and then this interface opens, and we can, for example, decide, okay, I want to crop this image, we want to just keep the purse, and for example, we can, I don't know, do many things, increase the contrast, and you know, the usual stuff that basic image editors have. But most importantly, when you save the image, you can give it a name. And the most important thing is that the image format and compression levels are automatically synced with your settings that are being decided by the store admins. So, you know, you're not gonna save images that are gonna be too big or in the wrong format. Next topic in our changelog is something, again, very important. We are in the process of replacing Zend framework with more modern components, and one of the things that I've always that I never really liked about the Magento platform was customizing PDFs. So what did we decide to do? We replaced the whole Zend PDF component with DOM PDF. What does it mean? That now you can create and customize PDFs templates with html files instead of the previous mess that it was. So let me show it to you. Super simple. We can go, for example, in the order edit page, all of the PDFs that are generated by Maho are now being converted already. So you can go into invoices. We have a sample invoice here, and you have the print button. Obviously, when you print the invoice and then you open it into the browser, the layout is new. I think it looks a little bit better, but most of all, it's generated via html files, so it's really easier for you to customize them. Documentation is in the website as usual. Let's continue our journey with another component from the Zend framework that's being replaced, and in this process we decided to add a lot of new functionalities. We are talking about Zend log. So every log functionality in Maho, it's now being handled by monolog. I cannot directly show it to you, but I can tell you that if you go on the website and you look for log, you have a new section, login in Maho. You have all of the documentation. Most importantly, for example, a new default adapter is used in your Maho project, meaning that you don't have to configure log rotate. So you can say goodbye to huge gigabyte big log files because they will not exist anymore. The log driver will automatically split the files by date and, you know, maintain only a few files for you, so that the disk space on your servers will never blow up. But you can use different log drivers at the same time. So for example, you can decide, okay, I'm gonna log on the server, but if there is a critical error, I want a Slack message or a Telegram message, you know, and now you can do it. Let me go straight into the next section, which is improved guest order management, which is divided in two. Let me show you first the backend side of it. So if we go to order management and we enter an order, this was a sample order, you know, this email address is totally fake and totally wrong, but what we can do now is edit. So if it is a guest order, we now have the possibility of coming here and say, okay, I wanna change it to this email address. And it gets updated, but it is still a guest order. But then we have another side of the coin. So if we are a customer and if we are navigating our my customer area, we have a new section, missing an order. If you place an order as a guest and you cannot find it here, you can find and match it. So let me show it to you in the my orders. We don't have any orders here, but again, we have this section. Let's try it, and this will permanently associate a guest order with match your email address to this account. Let's click, and you know, this is now found and it's matched forever into this account. Very nice. It was a user request, but I think it's very important to have this feature. So let me just skip this section for just a minute because I want to talk to you about this one because it's related to the blog that we were talking about before. So we added in our search auto suggest drop down, we added the category name search. And this is an addition to the blog search. So let's say we are searching for 𝗏𝗏𝗃, and we can now see that not only we are searching among the products, but we can also find categories, and we're also finding blog posts that have that word. So, you know, for example, if we just search for 𝗏, obviously we are searching for electronic category, blog posts, and also all of the products. So yeah, big improvement to the auto suggest. Now let's go back to the one that I skipped before, and it is speculation rules API. Very important for performance, meaning that now you can tell the browser that it can prefetch or pre-render some of the links. It's highly configurable. You can go here, system configuration, and go to the developer side, and you have this new section, speculation rules API. You can enable it. It's disabled by default just to be safe. We have a few settings, default settings that I think are well suited for every website, and you can decide what eagerness mode and what rendering mode you wanna use. You can mix and match all of the settings. It's very powerful, but let me show to you how it works. Let me switch browser because we need to use it via the official Maho demo in order to see it. So let's switch to the application tab. We have a section here called speculation, and we already see that there's something happening here, but let me refresh the page. Okay, what we can see now is that all of these links are kind of like ready to be preloaded, and the way I configured it now for our demo, it's that I want to pre-render the links when we are overing them. So for example, let's say we are overing the sale category. We can see here that there is one success, and it tells us that a page is ready. So for example, if we go back here and we click on it, it is absolutely immediate. And this goes also for these ones. We can see we have success on the sidebar. We click on it and it is immediate. So this is absolutely very important. But then in the changelog, we have another performance related feature. We are adding CSS and JavaScript minification directly into the core. We had a very powerful module for that, but I wanted to have it in the core because I wanted to support HTTP return code 103 early hints, which are used by modern web servers. And since we are supporting FrankenPHP by default, FrankenPHP supports early hints. They are very important for performance, and let me show it to you how they work. So for example, if we check the source code for this page, we can see that we have enabled the minification of CSS and JavaScript, but most importantly, if we go to the network tab of our developer console, and if we check the document that we are loading, we can see all of the early hints section that is telling the browser while we are rendering the page, hey, listen, you should start to download these links, which are, CSS and JavaScript. This is happening before the HTML page is even downloaded by the browser, So this is very important for performance. And we are tackling performance under every possible point of view. But let me go back to the changelog for the last few stuff that I want to talk to you about. We have completely rebuilt the internationalization in Maho, and with this release, we added international support for regions, state, and country, and the translations of these entities. And it is absolutely simple for you to start a new store in another country. Let's say, for example, we can go to System, Manage Directory. We had it in the previous release, but we can go to regions now. And let's say, for example, we want to import a region. We can say, for example, let's say we want to import France, and we need it in English, and we need it in French language, FR, and we also want to have it in Italian, for example. It is here, and we want to update previously, save the records, and we are not running the preview So we can import it here. It takes you a second. The log is totally complete for you to check. And if we refresh the page, we can now see that we can filter from France. And what happens is that they are automatically translated. This region is called 𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗃. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but we have an Italian translation already important. We are supporting worldwide provinces, states, so you are covered. Now let me talk to you about the last two headline news we have for this release. One, it's category import-export, something that was missing from our platform for a long time. If we go to system, import-export, import, we now have a new element here in our combo box, which is categories, meaning we can import via CSV file the category tree, but also at the same way we can export it. So, we can just come here, you can search for filter, whatever category you want to filter, and then hit continue, and the export will directly give you a CSV file with all of your category trees. Last, before we dive into the minor things, we now decided to remove all of the JavaScript date pickers that we had before. So we moved from a very old implementation to flat picker last year, but we thought it was about time to drop all of the JavaScript libraries for those and embrace standards. In 2025, browser supports for date, time, and datetime local inputs directly in the browser. It's very widespread, so we don't need any JavaScript anymore. For example, if we want to go to order and filter, this is directly managed by the browser. There is zero JavaScript involved. This is working in front end, in back end. It supports date time. It's automatically localized, translated based on your browser locate. I mean, it's amazing, and it is a standard, and it's here to stay. So this was the last headline news, but I want to talk to you about at least one other thing, at least actually two. So we have added meta robots control for a lot of new entities. So meaning for categories, product, and CMS pages, meaning you can decide for a single CMS page that you don't want to have Google follow the links in that page. The same goes for a category, and the same goes for products. If you set meta robots for a category, it gets automatically inherited by all of the products in the same category. So this is very important. But the last thing, and I promise this is the end of the video, although the list is longer as usual, but it's the sitemap generation improvements. Let me show it to you super quick. So obviously you're used to go to the catalog and Google sitemap. You have the sitemap here, usual stuff. Obviously, a few settings, you can decide which store is the sitemap, the file name, etc. And obviously, you can generate it with this link, meaning that if you go to the terminal and list the files, you can find all of the sitemap related files where you expect them to be. But now you can see already a difference. So the sitemap is now split by entity. So you have product sitemap, CMS pages, categories, and obviously our latest addition, the blog. The blog is already added into the sidebar, meaning that the main sitemap file is just the index for the other sitemaps. But there's another detail that I want to show it to you. So if you go to system configuration and then you navigate to the sitemap configuration, you can see, you can configure everything as usual, but you also can decide, okay, I want to have maximum 20,000 URL for each sitemap file. In this case, just because I want to show it to you, I will set 10 and I will save, and then I will go back to the catalog sitemap and regenerate the sitemap. It takes a second. And if we go to the terminal, we can now see we have a lot of sitemap files because they are split by URL. And also, there's another improvement. So for products, for example, but it works with every entity, meaning also categories and products and blog posts. You can see that we have image support directly in the sitemap. image and the title of the image. So the idea is to give Google as much content as possible to help our website stand out. So this was more or less what I wanted to show you for this release. Please check the changelog of the release, get documented everything. We try to document everything in the website. Most importantly, if you want a new feature, you can contact us, and if you want, you can sponsor the development or a feature, or it is an open source project. We are trying to do our best to provide you with the best e-commerce platform ever, but obviously we need help. So if you wanna support what we are doing here with Maho, feel free to reach to us and to sponsor the development of the platform. I will talk to you soon. Let's get back to coding and have fun with e-commerce and with the Maho platform, and I will see you soon in the next news video. So take care, guys. See you soon. Bye bye.